Right, so I am playing Sunless Sea. I do not know if this will go up on YouTube's. As well, it's a very slow-paced game of sorts. But either way, perhaps with the power of editing, I might be able to make it interesting. You never know. So, yeah, I've been playing this game for the last few days, quite a bit in fact. Why? Because I actually like it. It reminds me of old-fashioned games. And also, I'd like to note that it's currently a very windy, cold, stormy night. That's also kind of rainy and, you know, there's a lot of pressure against my windows. You may be able to hear it ever so slightly from the stream, but if you can, good for you! If you don't, well, I'm sorry you miss out on the ASMR aspect of the rain and the wind and all that lovely aspect. Either way, let's start up a new game, shall we? Actually, let me quickly test something, because I don't forget there's no music. Let's see. Should we stick with that for the time being? So I'm going to say that will do, since the sound does seem okay. I'm going to take that slightly more, just in case, you never know. Alright, so we're going to do a new game on this dark, stormy night in Sunless Sea. You can't fire through islands, especially if someone's living on them. How could you? Well, I think I could do it very easily, I think. Now, sometimes this game has a lot of trouble loading. I do not know why, but that's just it. Hello, Sultaras! How are you doing? Hopefully doing well. Right, so we are here in the nice place of fallen London. We have, in fact, well, the way of making our captain. 3 decades ago, in the reign of Victoria, London was stolen by bats. Now it lies a mile below the surface. It was dreadfully inconvenient for everyone, but opened a vast black ocean to you. Welcome to the underzee. Choose your past, or a past rigid in shadows, which means you cannot go with a beginning of sorts. Yes. So what we're going to go do is we're going to go with a past. Decide who you were and what you want to be. Now, I would like to note this to anyone who might be watching this. I am currently sick. I am still sick from my little 2-month inconvenience. So I have sometimes the sniffles, and sometimes I might have to disappear to go do other things to make sure I don't sound absolutely dreadful and I don't actually lose my voice due to other inconveniences. Let's just say it like that. So anyway, let's choose a past. So, decide who you were and what you want to be. You now lodge in a room above the blind helmsman. Yes, how terribly inconvenient that London's a mile below the surface. It's like, no, it's just, oh, don't worry, it's just an inconvenience, nothing more, nothing less, don't worry about it. It's perfectly fine. I mean, we all adapted, kind of, sort of, everyone died, you know, because of starvation and everything. But either way, don't worry about it, it's perfectly fine. It's just a slight inconvenience, nothing bothersome. The good old English way, right? So, let's go continue. So, who were you? Now you're captain. Now you belong to the undersea. But who were you before? A street urchin. Your urchin gang cast you out when you grew too tall. You took to the seas rather than graduate into larger crimes. The last big score was enough to buy a big ship. Now that gives me bonus fails, which is basically everything to do with sneaky sneaky. Sneaky sneaky is great. We love sneaky sneaky. So then we have a poet, an educated and articulate. You seek sensation at sea. How lucky you are to had a legacy to spend. Your long-vanished father had a rich patron. It seems this gives you pages. The skill of trickery and knowledge. The one of intelligence. And then, here we go. The veteran of the campaign of 68. Same as not 69, I'm going to be absolutely honest. So, you fought in the invasion of hell. London's armies lost. You survived. Your loot and your pension brought you a command. This gives you iron, the ability to do damage. You can normally do damage, but it's just amplified and so on and forth. So you can become an ordained priest. You fell from grace, and there's nothing left ashore for you. An anonymous benefactor has found this way out for you. Yes, that sounds about right, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Perhaps at sea you can overcome your appetites. This gives you heart, the skill of healing and morals. One of the more useless things I've learned. Just saying that now. I think being priest is one of the harder difficulties of the game. You might think, oh my god, the skill of healing? Well, in this game you either die or you don't. That's basically in a nutshell. So then you have a natural fluffer. Your peculiar theories on time, blood, and starlight brought you down to the Neath, the cavern where London lies. And now they take you out to sea. I don't know why I have so much trouble saying that. There we go. So those are the lovely classes. So you have, everything has like a hidden use. Like, Veils is really good at enemy detection, and a lot of things requires Veils. I'm going to say that now. You can either go goody two-shoes if you don't have Veils, which is perhaps, you know, the really good thing you should really go. But there's that. Pages, I have no idea what the hidden use for pages, but pages is the hardest thing to get up. I mean, literally, it's like almost impossible to bring this skill up, but that's just that. You have Iron, which is, well, I think majority of things can teach you Iron, but that's just that. And Hearts, as I said, is kind of useless. I mean, the only thing that stops you from doing is you outright dying. Yes, that sounds about right. So then you have the natural fluffer, which is Mirrors. Mirrors is actually kind of interesting. I would say it's the second hardest to get up. And in fact, a lot of the skills that require it require a lot of high mirrors. And I don't know if it actually has a combat bonus. I haven't been playing this game very long, you see. I've only been playing it for the last few days, and I've just been trying out here and there. So it's just something like that. So let's go over natural fluffer for the time being. So, bink! You are now a captain. Now you belong to underzee. But who were you before? A natural fluffer. Your peculiar theories on time, blood, and starlight brought you down to the Neath, the cavern where London lies. And now they take you to sea. You're acquainted with the plausible sergeant. You'll serve as the ship's doctor until you can find someone better. Talk to him to find out why he went to sea. So we now have 25 bonus mirrors. Now we have a total of 50 skill, which is kind of nice. We have a plausible sergeant, who is this nice, kind of like really... I'm going to say this, he's a bit weird. I'm going to say that now. Mainly because he has got, like, his face is like a six-pack of chub. I just said it now. I mean, it looks like he's got two types of chins. I don't know if it's a tumor on his face or a boil, but it looks a bit like a... I think it might be his chin. I don't know. It could be a giant bubble of flesh. Who knows? Anyway, we gain 20 echoes, so now we have a natural amount of 70. Echoes is the currency after all. So as a philosopher, the first question one must ask, if this is the undersea, or is it nearly a natural sea? You know, that's a good question. I guess that's the reason why we're going out, to find the true meanings of stuff like that. So anyway, your stranger quality has gone. Welcome to the world. Now, there is an achievement to go for the entire game without choosing a background. That in itself would be a very bland playthrough, I just want to say itself, because you cannot discover the qualities of your nice, lovely friends that accompany you, or anything of the sort. I guess it's more of a difficult approach anyway, but anyway, let's continue. So, choose an ambition. What does winning mean to you? Now, I could go the whole Charlie Sheen approach here, but in the end I'd probably get HIV and probably... God knows not. Anyway, let's see here. Your father's bones. Your father was lost at sea. You never knew him, but you often dreamed of him. Seems to be creepy in my aspect. Anyway, you find and return his remains to London for a decent burial. So the whole thing is, this is a story for you. So the story in general could be either your father's bones, or fulfillment. So basically just get 100 tales and stuff like that. It's just basically write a masterpiece. I think it's like a will or something like that. I cannot be sure. What does winning mean to you? Is there an option for losing? Well, yes, that's the same thing as winning in my eyes. That's the fun aspect. I say fun with bunny ears. Speech marks, yes, that's the terminology. Anyway, we have, well, wealth. Wealth is just basically, I think you need a mansion and to get everything related to a mansion and fully upgraded. And there we go, you win. And then there's this, which is a private kingdom. Establish a colony where you are the absolute ruler of a utopia. Perhaps. You cannot choose it for now, but you may find an opportunity to switch it later in the game. I've never come across this point, I'm going to be honest. I kind of really suck at this game. So as much as I would love to do that, it's impossible. This choice is not available, but it will be someday. So I don't know if it's something for a later period, like I don't know if it's a later build, or if it's something to do with progression. Either way, I have no bloody idea. So anyway, I think for the time being, what I'm going to do is go for the one that, in a sense, kind of has a bit of a story to it. So let's go with Father's Bones. Your father was lost at sea. You never knew him, but you often dream of him. Yes. Find where he fell and bring him home. When you found your father's home, you can retire to victory. Explore foreign London to find your first clue. Oh my god. Absolute ruler in your own colony? Yes! Utopia from me. For the women only, not so much. So, Tyrus, this is why we love you. You're the best goblin warlord ever. Anyway, let's go into the game. So, here we go. Last scrap of paperwork, the one that truly matters. So you can identify yourself as whatever. Sadly, you cannot identify yourself as a speaking and loving piano, as much as I would love you to be. But no, you sadly have to go over these generic terminologies, which is Madam. So more sea captains choose this than you might expect. If they're hermaphrodites or females, of course. I mean, then you got Sir, the stereotypical one. Then you got Citizen. We're kind of humble. We want to be recognised as the common people, yes. We got my lord, just in case we're snobby git. And the same goes for the lady. And then we got a captain, the most generic one of them all, so it doesn't matter what type of person you are. It's just, hey, you are generic captain man. Hi! But of course I will be Sir. Why? Because I like the word Sir. It's got a nice ring to it, and plus, it demands respect. Respect is nice. Let's go with that. Bink. Sir it is. Last piece of advice: explore, take chances. This captain will probably die. The sea is hungry, but each captain that passes, lessons will pass on to the next. Well, not really, but I'll probably get into that later. So who are you? An occurrence. Address as. Quality is now Sir. So that's basically what that means is, quality is kind of, I would probably say an option, objective, or whatever you desire, but that's just that. So yes, we are now a Sir. So let's continue. So now we can choose a magnificent portrait between this woman with a pillow on her head, this woman who's got a bit of stray hairs, this woman having frizzy hair and a hat, this woman wearing tentacles, a gypsy, someone who seems to be sniffing too much meth, and then we got a writer, then we got a man with a pipe, we got a man with the magnificent moustache, and of course who's an alcoholic. Then we got the stereotypical gentleman, and then we got the kind of, very evil, what would you call it? An evil scientist? No, an evil villain. There we go, even villain. And then we got the bald-headed smoker, and then we got the American GI. I think it's GI, no, it's PI, yes, that's it. And then we got man with turban, bald man. If you don't want to choose a gender, you can go with that, because now you're Big Daddy. And it doesn't matter what you are at that point. Then you've got a nice comb-over. You've got a man who's like a reject from the Phantom of the Opera. You got Imhotep from The Mummy. And then you got Imhotep's retarded cousin. And then you got Scruffy Hair McGee. To be honest, I like to go with the evil villain man. Why? Because he's got a pointy goatee beard thing and twiddly, moustache. Yes, and also he can have a vague sense of monocle. You want me to go as a Big Daddy, Star Titan? You know what, just for you, I will. So there we go. I shall be Sir Mr. Fibbles. The Big Daddy. It makes it a bit weird, Sir Mr. Fibbles. I guess Sir is more of a knightdom, isn't it? Yes. I guess so. I mean, you'd probably call him Sir Fibbles, but either way, it doesn't matter. He's now known as Sir Mr. Fibbles. So there we go. Your father's bones, a cold trail. Your father lost at sea so very long ago. The trail was cold. But now you have a lead, the gracious widow. It is said that she controls half the crime in London. It is said that she has 500 years old. It is said that she can distill spirits that delight the tongue and melt the flesh. I mean, that sounds like she's really got like an acidic tongue that tastes like strawberries. That sounds like an amazing thing. So I was daydreaming for a moment about, acid melting tongues that taste like strawberries. Anyway, so it says it said that she paid a memorial headstone to be set up for your father. What does she know? And we have unlocked memories of your past, a natural philosopher. So it says here, the night under the earth, the widow receives you in utter darkness, blank as a bandage laid across your eyes. This is usual for a widow. Yes, she says, and her voice is oddly youthful. I have an interest in your father. I had hoped for news of the headstone would bring someone looking. And here you are. I have an idea where his bones might be. Perhaps you will be able to help me recover them. But I would like you to cover my expenses first. I need something for my tonics. Skin tillac. You may find it in Port Cecil. I understand. You may go. Bring a unit of skintilac from Port Cecil for the widow. Port Cecil is found near the centre of the Zee first, near the Cunnet. And then we have, yeah, so that's basically it. Or go somewhere else entirely, you don't have to do it. So yeah, this is a story, basically. You would have went, if only we've gone with my lady, Mr. Fibbles. That would have been funny. I'm gonna give you that, Sultaris. That would have been funny. So, let's go with that. Bink. Okay, continue. So now we are in the game at last. So here we are. We have these options. So this is basically like... so first of all, this is what we are. This is all we're going to know what we are. And this is our good old friend. And this is a comatose ferret. We keep him in drugs because the surgeon doesn't like him, honestly. So anyway, let's go back into the city itself. So this is Fallen London. Honestly, it looks like artwork for Thief Deadly Shadows. But anyway, yes. So Fallen London, deep, dark, and marvellous. All voyages start here, and this is where successful voyages end. London, she's the great city on this undersea. Of course she is. And then we got this one, which is like, hey, do you have skintilac? No, I do not. You got our lodgings, which is basically we're living in an inn. We can read the morning newspaper. So here you may catch up with your correspondence, rest or retire altogether from the seafaring life. The better your lodgings, the better your equipment, a better quality of your retirement, naturally. Well, there's no scavens, there's more bat-like things. I guess, instead of, rat men, there's more Batmen. Oh god, Batman! Oh god. I don't want to think of all the villains that might come out. Bloody penguins are going to come out and raid everyone and start stealing everyone's stuff. Oh god, it's going to go absolutely horribly. But anyway, let's read the newspaper. The Unpertinent... Impertinent? I don't know, I think that's how you expect it. Oh, Unexpurgent? I have no idea. Anyway, the newspaper of the magazine of London. So let's do it. Let's see what it is. So, Echo Bazaar, the dynamic marketplace, has increased its tax on love stories. The traitorous empress has forbidden singing in the street outside her palace. The anarchists of the Calendar Council have inexplicably dynamited a drinking fountain. Why would you do that? That's like the worst use of dynamite. Unless it just wanted to blow something out, then fair enough. The Ministry of Public Decency has located and destroyed a nest of gale-biter wasps. Alright, so now we have news to trade. So, the whole point of this game is you're meant to retire. So that's how you end the game, literally. You're going out, getting fortune, and you're coming back, and you're sitting in your dark manor by your lonesome, and you're staring out at everyone, laughing as everyone's suffering as you plundered everything for yourself. Yeah, that's basically the game. And that's the only way you can win. The only way you can win is if you have a townhouse or a Zee-side mansion. So yes, that's that. So we have the Hold, which is what is so unique about us. We have a very, very bad ship. I mean, if I go to the shop and show you... I mean, is it shipyard I have to go to? Yes, it's shipyard. So yes, this tramp steamer has served well, but for a long, long time. So basically, we have like a 100-year-old boat that sells for 1,000 echoes. Right now, we only have 70. We could sell it for a crappy boat. This boat right here. Possibly there's a reason you might want to set to the sea in a boat the size of a dining room table. Possibly. Now, there's no benefit at all for going with this. Aside if you want to make the game harder for yourself. Yes, a tramp steamer is a boat. It's either that, or it's like one of what is it, a Boston hot dog, or something like that done by a homeless person? I think the only thing I think of as steamers when it comes under Urban Dictionary is poo. Yes. Or a cooking method. It could be a cooking method. That's a good point too. So yeah, let's go with that. So the best ship, of course, is like this giant steampunk galleon. This is the best boat ever. It costs like 30 times our boat. And we will probably never get this ever. So yes. To be fair, it does have one benefit, with a quick reset in case of combat. Oh! Alright, fair enough. So yes, there's the nice lovely shop. This shop has many different people. We have Biltrud's House of Vision. Don't know if it's actually pronounced that. You have Cavernous Yards, Caro's Naval Supplies. Or surplus. Surplus? Surplus! Yes, surplus, there we go. Mrs. Plenty's Shipside Provisioners, Wolfsack's Exchange, and the Iron and Misery Company. Sounds like an all-giant, oval, fun time. So, they all sell different things. Now, the one we are interested in is probably this one. Are you an engine or are you a weapon? I think you're a weapon, yes. So the main thing in this game is you do not really want to go with hull damage. You want to go with life damage. Life damage is the amazing thing. It's the thing that we all want and desire. So if we can get a good one that does life damage later on, that'd be great. But guns right now, not too much of a big deal. I mean, she sells grapes. I know they're cherries, but they're grapes, alright? Just understand that. Solid fruit, in small quantities, delightful and refreshing. In larger quantities, one has a very nice way to die. That's very grim. So we have a vice for captains, which is basically, hey, it's like, it puts all of this up on the side. It doesn't really put all that up on the side. I don't really know what it does. I think it's, one second, if I just go into this quick. I think if I click that, yeah, it's basically a tutorial type thing. So this game doesn't sell a tutorial. Or, no, sell a tutorial. It doesn't give you a tutorial like to basically learn the game. It's just, hey, there's this. Enjoy it. So let's go with, where was it? Who was selling it? Who was to buy it? You! I want an extra 50 gold. There we go, or 50 echoes, whatever it is, souls. It's like basically Wraith the Oblivion, where souls is currency. So, we have that, and this is our journal. Right now, we are Marina. Our memories are of a, well, place we hang our hat, and no one's born a sea captain. That's about it. And our only objective is to, in fact, find our father. We could talk to a man there, but we don't really want to. Let's explore London a bit more. So let's see here. We could offer passage to a tomb colonist. Now, in this game, when someone dies, what happens? Well, I think it dies of natural causes. I don't know if it's natural causes or dies in general. They don't exactly die. Their body exists, but it's constantly decaying. You can't see it like it's ghouls, but instead of being in an eternal state of, well, disgustingness, your body's slowly rotting away into dust. Yeah. So we're going to pick up this person, and we're going to take him away. Because why? I want to be paid. That's why. Because money's nice. So go with that. Bink. So here we go. So, an immigrant will pay to be taken north to Venderblight. It's oddly difficult to die in fallen London, but when an Londoner is too tatty and wretched to live, they wrap themselves up in bandages and take ship for the tomb colonies. Your crew starts these ones on board in padded coffins. They sleep there until the journey is done. So now we have a tomb colonist. A tomb colonist is honestly more goods than passengers, but as it is technically passengers rather than goods. But you never know it talks to them. You never know it talks to them? I don't know. Yeah, we have that. So there we go. We have nice and that, and I think we can't really go for a good time, really. But that's just that. So one of the whole factors of this game is that you need to get a good old set of officers. Crew members could go down slightly, but we can't sell them off, really, to, you know, the darkness dwells in the deep, for nice, lovely favours, but that's just that. So, let's get going, shall we? So, we have fuel and supplies. So, that is one of the main things of this game. If you run out of fuel, you're buggered. If you run out of supplies, you're buggered. If you get 100 terror, you're buggered. Yeah, so now you understand what it's like to be buggered. So, let's start, shall we? Launch. We want to turn off our lights. Because that wastes fuel, and it does. So as you can see, we are moving rather slowly. I recommend a blind and deaf gun if you can get one. You know, it's a very strange request, but, you know, if I ever come across a deaf and blind person, I would definitely do it just for you. So, the lights, in a sense, lights everything up. It reduces your terror intake, but increases your, well, fuel consumption, which is something you don't want. As our first place right here, which is Hunter's Keep. Now, luckily, because we're near landmass, terror won't increase. But as soon as we go in the open sea, it will. Once the lights go green, it means, well, your people are going to slowly go insane. So let's go visit here. Why? Because we want something. Actually, we didn't go visit the Admiral, did we? No. I'll come back to that anyway. So here we have a hump of dark rocks swathed in mist, like hundreds of other undersea islands. So here we go, but here's a grand house. Windows aglow, lawn impossibly green and lush in the full starlight, raked through gravel paths. You stand on the dock as the sea nudges this ship sides. As an unexpected warm breeze that carries a faint trace of lavender. Ooh, lavender. We can have a nice little nap here. So anyway, we can go to the home and basically knock on the door and say, hello? Or, you know, we could just go walk in the gardens and take in a lavender scent, or, you know, make kind of like grass angels and cover ourselves in mud as we wrestle each other to the ground naked. That sounds like a great time. Could you imagine, you know, 10 burly men, or so you should say 9, and, you know, Sir Mr. Fibbles, of course, all in the lovely, you know, grass is standing there over each other, while, you know, Mr. Fibbles is having a nice bit of rind as he's watching a bunch of naked men go at it. I make it sound like having sex, but no, to go and have a nice, lovely mud thing. Mud wrestling in the garden. Yes, nothing homosexual about that at all. No. Anyway, so what we could do is we could do a nice little while we walk around the garden. We can reconnaissance around the island. And we can gather a port report. Now what that does is that gives us our money. So every time we go to an island, we can get a port report and report it back to the leaders of London. And we get money for it. So hooray for that. Or, if we were good in veils, which we kind of not really are, we can place a spy. Let's quickly go do that. Now, I've never done this before, so we're going to see how this turns out. Because often I knock at the door and say, hello, I'm here, you know I'm here, so let's have a nice lovely cuddle. So we don't want cuddles, we're just going to have a nice lovely time saying hello to them. Through, well, proxy. So, piano music drifts across the terrace. You peer through a half-open French window in a grand parlour. Grand in size, but a little reduced in style by dust and neglect. A dark-haired, pale-skinned woman bends earnestly over the piano keyboards. Another fair-haired, but unmistakably her sister, sprawls on a sofa with a book. The third sits by a fireplace, staring sorrowfully into the embers. Soon, she says, and the piano music falters and stops. We'll go hungry, and then the end will come. For me, but not for you. The pianist raises her eyes from the keyboard. Hush! If you don't speak of it... She frowns. Has she seen you at the window? You withdraw. So now we know they're practically cannibals. And hello, owls! Hopefully you're doing okay. So from that, we get 40 fragments, which I think is boost if we get, pages. Yes, it does. Increases the speed which you convert fragments to secrets, which is always nice. So now we know something about Hunter's Keep. So we are also succeeded the challenge. So let's continue. So now we could perhaps do a bit of reconnaissance. Yes, why not? So here we go. Ships ready come here, nothing changes, even the weather. The house is the heart of the isle. The house and the sisters. But Admiralty may be happy to know that nothing has changed at least. So let's go and say hello to them. Hello! You knock and enter. A maid with smouldering topaz eyes shows you into the parlour with 3 young women await. A visitor, the youngest cries. The next youngest chuckles. The eldest just sighs. Do excuse incoderum, she says. Visitors are rare, and you are very welcome. I am Cynthia. The noisy one's Phoebe, or Phoebe. I have no idea how you pronounce her name. I see it all the time and everywhere, but I have never ever heard it pronounced. But there we go, that's that. The cheerful one is Lucy. You're in a good time for lunch. Will you join us? The sailor raise their heads, sniff sharply. Blood is on the wind. You have acquainted yourself with the sisters. So we can either have, lunch with Cynthia, Lucy, or the strange one. Or we could tell him about news. We don't want to tell him about news. Why? Because that's how you talk to him later on. You can have one free lunch, that's about it. So does anyone want any particular sister? Lucy, Cynthia, or the strange one? If you do, let me know. Alright, I'm going to go with you. Bink. So we have a nice lovely lunch with the youngest. Phoebe has the story to tell of 2 lovers parted by water, of a raven that carries messages, of a fragment of the moon. She beats time on the table as she speaks, as if to a song only she can hear. The effect is hypnotic. Your attention drifts out through the skylight of the dining room to the false stars glittering in the roof of the cavern. You drift like a puffball spore. The undersea shimmers below. The islands lie like mineral specimens on the black velvet. Ships bob like wood chips between the islands. Vast spined things pulse in the depths. There's a sense like sense before the storm. The storm comes, she says quietly. Everything has changed. Somewhere in there, you finished your last course. Scowling maid reluctantly serves cheese and bar-followed biscuits. You lost your hunger. We haven't gained any fragments. An occurrence has occurred. The gods of the sea, storm, attention, quality is now. So now we have got the attention of the god known as Storm. The most unforgiving of ones, from my knowledge. And then we've got 1 supply. And that's it for now. And now we have a memory of distant shores. We're now acquainted with the sisters. Let's be real. The giggling would drive you insane. Cynthia's too good for your channel with this drama. And the weird one is perfect. Sotaris, you are absolutely true, but I acknowledge. So let's continue. So that's all we can do. We're not receiving visitors. The pie is empty. Where are his sisters? The maid makes it clear for a series of unwelcome growls. The crazy one, the giggling one, and the depressive one are indisposed. No lunch today, apparently. Bit of showers, and I was hoping something like that, but either way, we have learned something. Well, we mainly gained the attention of something even darker than ourselves.